For most folks, their home's their largest, most valuable investment. I don't know if you guys own a strip mall or apartment complex or something. Yacht, anyone? No? But making the home more enjoyable is their highest concern, which happens to be most homeowners. Choosing the right contractor these days now is somewhat of a challenge. Avoiding the two worst things, the best way to become a victim of a horror story for a remodeler is to look at, number one is do nothing. The market that we live in, labor and materials, labor goes up 2 to 3% a year, which isn't a lot. Materials are 5 to 7%, so the same project you're considering right now could easily be 40% in the next 5 years, higher. But worse is making a contractor or product decision without all the facts. Sometimes ending up with the wrong products or having to do costly repairs over again. Consumer research says that these are the 6 most common questions that homeowners have when deciding on a contractor. There's a lot of important decisions that homeowners make, but these are the 6 most common. Number 1 is, how do I select a dependable contractor? While always wanting the best products, homeowners, the contractor is one of the most important decisions. You could end up, if you make the right choice, you end up with the right, a happy ending, so to speak. But if you choose the wrong person to do work or choose the good price, sometimes you end up with having to redo things. What product meets our needs best? No matter what, the products that you choose should not only be trouble-free, headache-free, last a lifetime. Agreed? We'll receive expert installation. Anytime you're doing work on a home, you should have, it's not like a refrigerator or a car or a TV where it's pre-assembled, pre-finished goods. Everything should be designed to fit the space that you have. Today's day and age, you can't trust anyone for all the answers. With regards to home improvements, the industry represents $312 billion a year. According to Harvard Joint Study on Housing, 1/3 of all money is spent to redo previous work. So, and then according to Home Tech, 1/3 of all home repairs need to have some kind of work done within 1 year. So out of $312 billion, and this is actually a typo, it's actually 96% of all contractors fail in their first year of business. And then a lot of them fall off after that. So as a homeowner, you have to protect yourself from uninsured, unlicensed, fly-by-night companies, shoddy work, questionable products. No matter what, don't let this happen to you. This says roof, but you as a homeowner, I have a leak in my new roof. Call the company that installed the roof. And they say, yeah, no problem, you just got to call the lead installer. And they will come out and take care of it. Lead installer says, hey, I was there all day long, or I was there for the entire project. I know we didn't do anything. It must be a manufacturer issue. So you're going to have to call the manufacturer, and they'll come out and take care of it. Manufacturer comes out or says, well, we'd love to help you, but you need to contact the company that you paid to do the work. Homeowners left wondering, who's going to help me out? Recent survey, 60 million inquiries with the Better Business Bureau. 38% of the complaints go unresolved. We don't have a good report card as an industry. A lot of our industry works on this principle of divided responsibility, where there's 5 people that could have solved your problem, but nobody takes responsibility because you have a manufacturer who makes a product, sells it to a distributor, sells it to a contractor, subs out the work. Our company operates on a principle of undivided responsibility. As if I've done work on your home, whether it's a roof, a kitchen, a bathroom, I own it, and I'm the one you have one name to remember, one number to call. We're almost through my sales pitch. And we'll get into the meat of it. First important decision when considering any project that you guys have is the contractor, are they licensed? Are they trained? from the manufacturer and certified for the installation that they're doing, because there are certain products that are designed to be installed by people that have been trained to do it. Do they provide a protection for both labor and material, and carry $1 million of liability insurance, which is very important, and then a virtual risk-free solution for you. Choosing a company with a name and reputation you can depend on. Are you guys familiar with the BBB? There's a lot of great companies here. I know there's probably some that are not. I would never badmouth anybody, but our reputation with the BBB, it takes 5 years to become A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, be accredited. And it's something that we really hang our hat on. And it's not that our company does everything right, but we do make sure that everything's right before we're done. And it goes to, it's a part of what I talked about, having, if you guys have an issue with the home, I'm the number you call on the project that I worked on. Liability insurance, how does this affect you? $1 million of liability insurance. Anybody that steps foot on your property has liability insurance. Because if you hire a handyman and they don't have these things, any injuries or damage that might occur in the process of doing work on your home, I don't know if you guys know who that would fall on if they don't have that, but it falls on your homeowner's insurance, or you if you got super deep pockets, I guess. This is just our good standing with the state of Minnesota, our license, our report card from the BBB. EPA, depending on the age of the home, is the company EPA lead certified. Things have to be done with regards to lead safeness, other certifications. Remodeling Magazine ranks purpose-driven restoration in the top 85 in the country. That doesn't mean I do a huge amount of volume. It's based on our customer satisfaction, the projects that we do, things like that. We are pretty efficient at what we do and try to plan everything out ahead of time so there's not any hiccups. This is the garage portion. Are you guys looking for garages, or is it for remodeling? Remodeling, everybody?
I'm looking at having a gable added, which is a little
Oh, okay.
unusual.
Yep.
I don't know where that would fit between those two.
Sure. Okay. Are you remodeling too? Are you looking at?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll close this one out and go to the actual remodeling or the design build section. This is the BBB rating system. It's based on complaint volume, unanswered complaints, unresolved. There's no wood here, but knock on wood, we've never had a complaint. It's a matter of not getting to that point. Is having good communication. The first step in doing a remodeling should be a consultation meeting, not a high pressure sales tactic. Is sitting down and chatting about what you want. When I sit down with homeowners, I ask lots of questions. Some of them are really weird, in that since you bought the home, have you ever turned on any lights that shut something else off? Noticed any work in the house that's been done that you're pretty sure nobody pulled a permit for? Things like that. The more answers that I can get, the better of a proposal I can put together. But we want to get your design ideas on a project. What you want to see, what are you going to use the space for? Is it going to be, if it's a kitchen, who's the main cook? Are they right-handed, left-handed? Where do we put things? So there's lots of questions that get asked, and hopefully we can resolve any issues with your current situation through the remodel. This is part of there's a lot of stuff in here about the design portion. Our company itself, this is a model that works really well, and it also works really well for homeowners that want to get 8 estimates, or they want 3, or they want 5, or whatever, is putting together all your design ideas and putting them and having professional drawings put together for whatever it is that you want. because you're going to need them anyways when you do a remodel. The city of Bloomington, assuming everybody's from here, wherever. It doesn't matter the city, that if you're out in the country and the county's going to want them. But everybody needs plan drawings to go through plan review to make sure that you can do the project that you want. What we do is we like to have people get that up front. That way, if you want 5 people to bid on your job, we're all looking at the same exact thing versus my rendition of your idea. Going and having drawings put together, you have the ability to get 3, 4, 5 renditions of it, meet, talk about all the concepts, send it to you, and you say, no, that's not what I was envisioning. Could you change this? Could you move this? We make the changes, again, email them back, and then once you say, yes, that's exactly what I want, then we have the prints drawn up and then present them to you, and now those are yours. Because have you guys done big projects before? Sometimes people will put together drawings. I'll put together drawings, spend the time, XYZ company does it, they present it and you're like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. And then you decide you didn't like something about that company. Well, now your design's gone because nobody's just going to give it to you. These are yours, you've paid for them. Which helps, it's a process that helps alleviate some of the question marks in it. I'd rather, instead of saying, well, your project's going to be X, $40,000 or $10,000 or whatever, throwing out an estimate, when you have drawings, it becomes a true proposal. So you have drawings put together, then you have a kind of a little meeting at the house where you have a plumber, electrician, whoever needs to be involved, looks at the project, the numbers are true, and then we put together a true proposal versus an estimate, which is something that most people never go after as an estimate because a lot of times they're inflated, so I make sure I cover my behind. This is a true proposal. You said you wanted hickory cabinets, or you wanted this species of wood, or you wanted these enameled. This is exactly what you picked. This is what it's going to cost to do it. How do you pull it back? Well, you end up, then you can make different selections, different flooring selections and things like that. But it reduces a lot of the surprises, and we found it to be the best approach. The best reason to having 2 and 3D blueprints, again, our drafter gives you different options. You're able to go back and get revisions. Typically, these are kind of typical numbers for a kitchen, bathroom, things like that. You're $600 to $750 to have them put together. Basements, kind of the same thing. If someone wants to do a basement, if you guys want, there's some handouts too back there if you guys want them. That's kind of covering the same thing. But where was I here? Kitchen, bathroom combination. So sometimes homeowners will want, I want to know, I have 3 projects I want to do. I don't know which one's going to be first. I want to do my basement, and I do want to do the kitchen, and I want to do a mudroom because I've hated it since the day we moved in. So the idea is putting all those things into the same plan, and then you can put things together in an order that works. So let's say you have a budget of, whatever the number is. You have the plans to do all the projects, and sometimes you're putting things in ahead of time for the next project. For instance, let's say you wanted to do the basement, and you also wanted to do a kitchen or something like that. Well, you want to move your kitchen over into the dining room that nobody uses anymore. Well, it makes sense to do the kitchen first, but maybe that's not your goal. Well, if I'm going to finish the basement, there's some things, if I'm moving electrical, plumbing, gas, we should do it at this time. Do that when you're doing the basement. It's in the wall, it's there, it's ready for the next step of your project. So it's getting a bigger picture and putting them all together into your master plan of what it's going to be, as opposed to, okay, I'm gonna do the bathroom, and then I'm gonna do the kitchen, or I'm gonna do the basement. Whatever your goal is for that house, as long as you're gonna be there, put them into the plans as much as you can. Does that make sense? And then we put together, it helps in the decision figuring out pricing, which projects that you're gonna do first. One of the things that's in here is, have you guys heard of Remodeling Magazine? Every year Remodeling Magazine does a report called Cost versus Value, and it pools or asks area remodelers in the Minneapolis or metro area, how much is the average bathroom? How much is it to replace windows? How much is it to re-roof a house? And then they come up with an average, and then they also ask realtors, well, what's my rate of return on my investment? That's one of the key things that is having an idea of what's going into the project before you have 5 people come take a look at your project. Have an idea, and this is something I try to send out ahead of time. That way when someone looks at a major kitchen remodel and they think it's $10,000 and it's really $50,000, whatever it is, you have a realistic expectation of what that project's going to be. But with having plans drawn up, you can zero in and have a really concrete proposal on what it is, and it comes down to the choices that you guys make on what's going into that space. Do you guys mind if what projects you guys are talking or have specific questions on anything? Anybody?
We're doing we have to remodel both of our bathrooms.
Yep.
They're very small in the upper levels, they're close together. There's a tub, shower, toilet, and then right behind that is just a toilet sink.
Yep.
And since they're very tiny and both floors are rotted, they should be done at the same time. The challenge with that is you need a functional bathroom.
Yep.
So we're considering putting a shower unit in the basement before we do that to get the time for the actual main bathroom units to be done.
Yep, I just did one very similar in Minneapolis where we did the basement bathroom and the upstairs bathroom, and we were able to, off of one of them, put in a temporary unit for showering and stuff like that. It's a hard process when you're taking both of them out. But there are ways to do it, and it doesn't have to break the bank on the temporary hookup, because you're having a plumber involved in it and stuff like that. So it can be done, and you're right. It should be done they should be done at the same time, and it's not just because of the floor, but if they both need to be done, you have every person that's going to be involved: the plumber, the electrician, HVAC, if there is any returns, heat runs, whatever, they're all going to be there. So you're taking a bit of the cost out of the equation on each of those if you were to do them separately, if that makes sense. With regards to design, we do 2D and 3D design. Most homeowners what they really need is a 2D design layout or a floor plan and where are things going. We'll take it a step farther for cabinets, if someone wants 3D designs, or if they'd want designer, that's a different thing altogether. I do have designers that I work with, but I've found most people have an idea of what they want. It's just a matter of putting it on paper or what it's going to look like. 3D designs and drawings. After you have a plan that's drawn up and put together, and you guys have got to the point of making selections, this helps take all the guesswork out of how much a project should cost. You select tile at the tile shop, you select cabinets at wherever, Northland Cabinets, a nice showroom somewhere, and then now you know exactly what our costs are, and it's just a matter of if a general contractor is going to handle the whole project, are you doing bits and pieces of it and things like that? Sometimes homeowners want the whole thing done, sometimes they want bits and pieces taken care of, which is fine either way. And then we design and develop a scope of work and budget. At this point, usually a homeowner, if I've met with them a couple times, they're comfortable enough to talk about what their budget is. I would recommend that you guys have a budget in mind and don't be afraid to share it with a contractor. I know personally, when I ask someone what their budget is for a project, it's not to see how much I can charge you. It's to help make selections on what you can and can't do in a fast amount of time versus you wanting tile and maybe you need to select a tiled shower, maybe you need to select a different product, a Corian product, a solid surface, fiberglass surround. It helps so you don't spend a lot of time in the selection process, because most contractors here should be in the same price range. If I'm way up here and so-and-so's right here, and I'm really close to the average, there's a reason why this person's here. And I never say anything, I would never badmouth anybody, but it's a matter of you want to make a selection on a company and know that if you have an issue with your bathroom or your kitchen or whatever it is in 5 years, that they're going to be around to take care of it. Because some of you guys missed the opening part, but the average, it's $312 billion a year is our industry, and a third of all money spent each year is to redo previous work. And a third of all of that has to be some kind of repair within 1 year. So the shopping for the best price is rarely the best option, because that person is likely not going to be around in a year. 96% of all contractors are gone within the first year. And it's not that they're bad people, it's they've gone from, I do the work, I do a great job, and now I'm running a business, and now I'm keeping the books, and now I have this person, and I'm doing this, and they run themselves ragged and they can't do it. And so I would, does that make sense about budgets? That's why I kind of send out, I like to have people look at the cost versus value. By the end of the design phase, you should have a pretty good idea of the scope of work. What I do is when I get to this point is the construction agreement. I've met with you several times. I made $0. I'm investing time. We get to the construction agreement. I put as much detail into a proposal as I can. If you're doing a bathroom, you have $6 a square foot allowance. You have 200 square feet of tile. If you pick something for $8, you got $400 more, or whatever it is. If you found something for $4, it's that much less. Flooring, $6 a square foot allowance for flooring, or you have $1,200 allowance on a vanity. If you found one at Home Depot and you said, I want this one and it's $400, well, that's off of the number. Does that make sense? So it's a matter of getting all the things in place, and some of them don't seem to matter to either the homeowner or the contractor. But on a bathroom, who's buying the towel bars? Who's buying the vanity or the light fixture? You could spend $20 on a light fixture, or you could spend $5,000. I've put a $5,000 shower fixture in. So you can spend $20, which is what's in my house, or you could spend a $5,000 and put in one that lights up and strobes and whatever. So, well, it is a matter of, so when I do the construction agreement, I say I have figured to do all the installation, including 3 can lights or whatever that I'm going to provide, recessed cans, and 2 surface mount lights, for a vanity or whatever it is. You're going to provide those, and I'll install them. Same with plumbing fixtures. I'll usually, on a bathroom, I'll include a comfort height toilet automatically, because it's a lot easier to get up. So but fixtures, your shower fixture, your bath fixture, things like that, those vary so much. I'll figure on putting in your towel bars and things like that, but not necessarily not the towel bar itself or whatever. I will include in my proposal, if I'm doing a tiled shower, this includes 3 corner shelves, or it includes 2 built-in shelves, recessed built-in shelves or whatever, and that way the homeowner knows that hopefully by then they've seen what it's going to look like, or they have an idea. But then it doesn't come down to at the end where a lot in our industry, what happens is homeowners select the lowest price, and they find out all the things at the end that weren't included. I want to know before I give you a dollar amount all the things you want included, and if there are items that I'm not doing or if you're doing, and those are, you guys should ask those questions no matter who does the project for you. Is make sure the more details involved covers you, covers the contractor as well. That way there's no question marks, because the last thing you want is to be super happy with your project except for the price at the end, because it's way different than the end, because you love the project, you love the space, but it's $7,000 more than you thought it was going to be. So you don't want to create hard feelings with the contractor, and vice versa. But that's a lot the way that our industry works. So then we enter into the construction phase. Do you guys have questions about the designing?
So I think you mentioned the design part, so you design the project to help us price through and give us our options without charging us?
On a basic bathroom, if you're keeping the same footprint, you don't necessarily have to have a design. It's a matter of if you want one, if you want to see what it's going to look like when it's all said and done, or if you can walk through the steps. Because I could come to your bathroom, and outside of the plumbing issues that I don't see, I can give you a price that day because I know what most of my costs are. But if you need design help, because you could spend $5,000 on designers, which I'm more than happy to show pictures and give ideas of what I've been doing and what people are doing. But it ultimately comes down to, what do you want it to look like? I mean, I've done some where the guy was a Mississippi River buff fanatic, and he wanted aspects of Mississippi, so it was a matter of making everything super rustic and trying to make the shower look like a river. So it's what you want it to be. But if you want design ideas, you can bet a true designer is going to charge anywhere from $90 on the low end to $100 and $200-300 per hour, and they won't tell you how long it's going to take. I mean, I have designers that I work with, and a lot of times that works out just fine if people have no idea what they want, and that's true. Usually, guys don't know what we want. We actually don't have a project. We don't want to do it. And wives have a project and they have exactly what they want. So it's a matter of what your needs are. But necessarily for a bathroom, you don't necessarily need a plan drawn up, but you can do it. I do very basic ones myself, where you'll get a 3D look, and is this kind of what you're thinking? No, I don't want the shower there. Okay. So you move things around or whatever, but you don't necessarily need professional drawings. You need concept, things like that. So but the average bathroom, if I have a professional drawings put together for a master bath or something, and you're taking out the tub and putting in a bigger shower, whatever it is, yeah, you're gonna spend $600-700. Have the drawings put together. You're probably gonna need them because you're moving all this plumbing and it's got to be permitted. But again, you could spend $3,000 on having an architect do it, which it's not necessary. You need a draftsman. I've yet to find someone that does design builds more affordably than we do, at least from the plan side. I will promise you I won't be the cheapest person to do the work, but I do know that our company will be around. So, any other questions you guys have? Anyone? So you get to the construction phase. The only part that you would see me on is the demo. You don't want me actually doing any work. I'll do some of the demo work. But the construction phase, at the same time, we also have a project manager that's assigned to your project. So that doesn't mean they're going to be there every day, all day, but anytime someone's going to be at your house. My project manager that does all my projects, I'm on the sales side. I do some of the project managing, but he does such a great job communicating. It's his emails are to you is this is what you can expect to have happen this week. We're going to demo. The rough-in plumbing will be done. That doesn't mean that's telling you the plumber is going to be at your house on Wednesday at 2 p.m. But he's got it scheduled out and knows how things go. To the construction phase from the previous construction agreement, I usually leave 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks. You say yes, I have 8 to 10 weeks to put everything in order. So things go very smoothly and you're not down 2 bathrooms for 4 months. It's one of the things that we pride ourselves on is getting a project done as quickly as possible and as efficiently. Things that can affect that is you change what you want in the middle of the project. That's part of it. We have weekly meetings and talk about projects, about the project itself. If you came home and were laying tile and it's not what you selected, one of the things is by then I would hope that homeowner is comfortable enough to call and say wait or tell them to stop. But communication on any project, whether it's somebody else or me, another contractor, is knowing when you're unhappy and saying stop and reconvening, because your project will go that much smoother. Once you're in the construction phases, is telling someone if something's not exactly what you thought it was going to be. Hopefully that makes sense. At the end, we do a punch list, talk about warranty on the project, but the punch list is it's a blessing and a curse for both you and I, because once we've gone through a punch list, I prefer not to be called back and repaint something after we've gone through the punch list. But the punch list is designed to make sure that any traffic issues that you guys had in the home, we try to document things as we're coming into the house. Doing work is pre-existing conditions. And making sure that we leave it better than we came into it. But you run into the situation where you end up with replacing something because it wasn't documented that the person had a hole in their door. Take a picture of it, but that's on my side. So the punch list is very important for me, and it's very important for you guys. On a warranty standpoint, as a homeowner in Minnesota, you have, no matter what, a 1-2-10 warranty on any project. 1 year on anything, 2 years on anything mechanical, and you have 10 years on anything structural. We do a lifetime warranty on craftsmanship of our work. That doesn't mean if your sink leaks in 6 years that I owe you a new sink. That means we'll come out and decide if there was an issue with the installation. Was it a manufacturer problem? Should this have not happened? Those sort of things, and we'll try and come to a immediate resolution, or at least get the problem taken care of so there's not a problem, a bigger problem. When someone has my card, you're okay to call me at any time. if you have an issue, emergency issue, whatever it is, to take care of the problem. If you called at 2 in the morning, you might get a call back at 7 or 8. But unless you had a serious issue where there was flooding or something, it's never happened. I just like to throw that out there. Any other questions?
So one thing that you mentioned is the length of time that it takes, and I've seen a couple of my neighbors have had remodeling in the last 6
Yep.
months or so, and they think the project's going to take 2 months, and then the dumpster is still sitting outside 6 months later.
Yep.
Or they're like, I just got it done with my life, I can't get these contractors to get it done.
Yep.
Obviously, a lot of surprises that were unexpected caused those delays,
Yep.
as well as the increase in the budget. But, what do you guys do to try to prevent the actual length of time?
Well, the best thing that you can do, and whether it's somebody else or me, is to know as much information up front and have it decided before you start. That's why I push out a start date. I could certainly come. I can come tomorrow if you want and demo your bathrooms, but I can't start on them for, 2 months. Well, that's part of the issue. Is sometimes homeowners want to, or contractors want to get started on something, but they can't actually finish it in a timely manner. That's why I start 8 to 10 weeks later, or we start, because now I know on Monday I'm going to demo it. Tuesday the plumber's coming in, he's going to do rough-in, electrical, and things. All those rough-ins happen right away. We move whatever has to be moved, then you go back putting things back together. But almost any project you can expect to have 6 to 10 weeks on an interior remodel. And that's just because, let's say you're doing tile. If you wanted a tiled shower pan, well, we demo everything out, you redo the tiled shower pan, you're not putting a fiberglass in, you're tiling it. The first thing that you self-leveling, reset the drain, all the rough-in stuff, but self-leveling concrete, it's got to dry, you're forming it, you build the curb, and then you have a rubber membrane that goes over the top, more self-leveling concrete, and the longer that can cure, the harder it is. Well, you've just taken up a week, and you can't really do anything else, if that makes sense. So it has to do with what's all involved, and the more information and the questions that you have, the more answers you can get. But 8 to 10 weeks is pretty realistic on most projects, because there's time frames where you can't squeeze the demo in, a plumber or electrician, HVAC, all in that first week, and then start doing drywall and putting things back together, all in the same time. You need to know when your cabinet is going to be done, or those things. So I've had 1 or 2 projects that have gone a month longer than it should have. But most of those things happen when something changes in the process, where a homeowner decided to change something. So if I have my plumber coming on Monday and we change a plumbing thing, and the electrician's coming Tuesday and so on and so forth, well, plumber can't do his job because we have changed. You have to do the plan has to be put back through the city or whatever it is. Now, that plumber might not be available for 2 weeks, and everybody else has to follow him. So you, instead of having boom, 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 now you have boom, here's your next guy, and you've added 3 weeks in a heartbeat just because something wasn't up front on paper, on plan. Does that make sense? So there's a lot more to it than what you see on HDTV and stuff like that, where it's, you're in and out and it looks like it takes 1 hour. So,
And we can do it ourselves and make a complete mess of it.
yeah, you can't, and there's certain things that homeowners can do that if they're comfortable, but never do a shower pan for sure. Tiling is one thing you can do. I'm not a good tiler. I've done 2 backsplashes at my house, and one was okay, and the other one had my wife crying. So you don't want me doing any actual work, so other than demo. Any other questions? I will answer specific questions too. If you have a different one, or you can stop by the booth or something like that. Does anybody else?
I just have a question about, I read a few articles, if you have a tub or a shower and where they just come in and what they call that?
Rebath?
Yeah, is that really a quality?
I don't know much about it, but one of the guys that works for us spent several years, a year as a manager at like a rebath type situation, where they're resurfacing it. What you're paying for that, you could replace it a lot of times and get what you want. I don't know much about them, and I would never say good or bad. I don't know because I don't do it. But from what he said, and then that you can probably replace it for what if you're talking $7,000 to rebath it, you can redo your shower and things like that, and a nice tile and make it to look the way you want, design it. So, yeah. Any other questions? I do. If anybody wants someone, to have someone come and take a look, or me, I do have a sign up back there too. I know did anybody come late for wanted to look at garage stuff?
And you do garage stuff?
Yeah, we do. Half of this was supposed to be garage builds. We do a ton of detached garages. Detached garage, you need a basic plan for, but attached garages would become a for sure design build, where you have to house it tie into the house and things like that. So, and a dormer. You got a lot of information on everything but your dormer. So, any other questions you guys have? Yeah.
Question. I've got a very small family style
Kitchen?
where I can't reach most of the shelving,
Sure.
and the shelving is entirely on the wall.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm interested in getting a lot more space out of a very small space.
Is there any ability to change the space? Okay. I'd love to take a look. I without seeing it, I can't tell you, but you can't reach it because they go to the ceiling.
Yeah, ceiling.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's different things you can do, but some of it might be everything's all on one side. I'd have to look at it. But yeah, there's lots of different things you can do. It's just a matter of every house is different. Even if they were right next to each other and built the same, you get inside and they're a little bit different. But yeah, I've done a few galley style kitchens, and sometimes you can open up pull space from a closet that has a handful of things in there and make it a cabinet. And if the only thing that was in the closet was a couple brooms and a couple of whatever, take that space.
Have that option, but I'm also thinking of making the dining room and the kitchen more of a room.
Yep, you can do it like an eat-in kitchen. Yep, because if you use your dining room once a year, or twice a year, whatever, and you would eat breakfast in there in your kitchen every day, if you had the space, that's something that people are moving towards. I'm working on 2 of them right now where they have a dining room. They've used it once in the last 3 years, and it was because every 3 years they hosted Thanksgiving. So it's make space and make it enjoyable is your number one priority. Do that. Same with I tell people when they want to do a bathroom, if you don't want a tub and you don't use it, don't worry about resale so much. Is worry about if you're staying, why worry about the resale? Make it what you want. If you want a tub, put the kind of tub in there that you want. What do you use it for? Do you sit there and drink a glass of wine? Maybe you want a heating element in there or something like that, where you don't have to constantly turn on hot water if you're going to sit in there for half an hour or 40 minutes. Those types of things. Make it what you're going to use it for.